Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for checking the video out today. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. So before we dive into these topics, if you end up enjoying the video or finding it informative, be sure to hit that like button. It helps the videos out more than you know. And if you are new here to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. We're starting here with the announcement of the October PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium games lineup. Coming from PlayStation Lifestyle, they say there will be 16 new games added to PS Plus Extra, with 7 additional PlayStation Plus Classic games added to PS Plus Premium, making this the biggest month for new additions since the launch of the new tiers. Now, the games that they have here for PlayStation Plus Extra, you're looking at Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, Assassin's Creed Chronicles India, and Assassin's Creed Chronicles Russia, Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Dragon Quest Builders, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Dragon Quest Heroes, The World Tree's Woe and the Blight Below, Dragon Quest Heroes 2 Explorers Edition, Dragon Quest 11S Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, the Definitive Edition, Hohokam, Inside, Naruto to Boruto, Shinobi Striker, and The Medium. And then for the new PlayStation Plus Premium Editions, you're looking at Castlevania Lords of Shadow, Everyday Shooter, Limbo, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Yakuza 3 Remastered, Yakuza 4 Remastered, and Yakuza 5 Remastered. So there you go. There is the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium lineup for October. So at this point, I'm going to be interested to see what you guys have to say about this. What are you thinking of October's lineup? And I definitely want to hear your thoughts on the PlayStation Plus Premium lineup. Moving on to the next topic though, there was a new firmware for the PS5 that was released, and it seems like it made some pretty significant improvements to the user interface. Reading from Push Square, they say Sony continues to refine and iterate on the PS5's user interface, which was a little undercooked at launch, but is gradually making great strides. One area it continues to champion and tweak are the activity cards, a feature designed to improve the speed at which you can access in-game activities. When used correctly, you're able to jump directly to certain modes and locations, bypassing menus and loading screens. A new firmware update available today, although some may have already seen it earlier in the month, transforms the way activity cards are presented in-game. Rather than a long ribbon of different icons, they are now grouped together. For instance, in the PGA Tour 2K23 example above, there's a section for single-player activities and multiplayer activities. Selecting one of these icons then brings up a neat list of all the things you can do. Trophies have also been completely overhauled. Now when you select the trophy icon, you're able to see the full list of available gongs in the game. You can choose to pin a certain challenge and even snap the list to your screen. Previously, you'd have to go to the trophy tracker and then tab through the separate part of the system to see all of the trinkets available. This is a massive usability improvement. So I wanted to let everybody know about this and kind of show you these screenshots that were provided by Push Square, because it seems like this was kind of a surprise. I did notice that there was a new update, but I didn't think much of it. And then I saw people kind of talking and pointing out that actually it seems like it made some pretty significant improvements here to the activities cards and the trophies. So let me know what you guys think about these changes. Personally, I actually really like what they're doing here. I think it looks a lot better. Moving to the next topic though, we have a bit of an update on the newly acquired PlayStation Studio, that being Haven Studios, and how they apparently want to change game development forever. So reading from Push Square again, they say Haven Studios, the latest developer to be acquired by Sony, is trying to change the game. The Canadian studio, which has grown at a rapid rate, is not only working on an ambitious live service title for the PS5, but is also aiming to transform the way game development works. If it's successful, it could have an enormous impact on PlayStation Studios and the industry at large. After inviting media to its office earlier this week, Axios reports that the developer's ambition is to create games in the cloud. Its goal is to build tools and systems whereby entire titles can be constructed like a Google Docs project. In other words, changes occur in real time and everyone always has access to the latest version. It's a project that even PS5 and PS4 system architect Mark Cerny has been attracted to. While infinitely more complicated than the crude example above, the overreaching idea is to reduce bottlenecks. Cerny believes it's important because cumbersome game development practices only hurt projects. The game ends up not being your best ideas, or it ends up being your ideas, but they're not in the best possible form because it's that really fast iteration that lets you polish it and get it into place. By working in the cloud, there's no need for developers to download enormous amounts of data each time a new build is released. It's just there for everybody, all at the same time. Haven Studios is even investigating ways machine learning can be used to create video game assets, speeding up the entire process so that developers can more easily and freely experiment with different ideas. All of this, it hopes, will allow it to focus on the most important part: making great games. If it's successful with its efforts, then Haven Studios could completely transform the way PlayStation Studios and the industry at large operates. And ultimately, what this all means for us is bigger and better games developed in a healthier environment and released on a more sensible schedule. So that's the update on Haven Studio, and to me this is pretty significant because we are once again seeing very clearly why Sony decided to pick this studio up rapidly. It is a newly founded studio, but there is veteran talent, so we just kind of figured maybe it's the game that they're making that Sony's really interested in. But as we can see here, and as we continue to learn about the studio and what they're doing, it goes well beyond just what type of game they could be making. I'm going to be honest, I really don't think I'm expecting too much from Haven Studio at this point with whatever this live service game is, because what we're seeing is that it's the big changes to game development that they could bring to the table for all of PlayStation Studios, and as this article mentions, potentially the entire game industry, that I think is extremely appealing to Sony. It's interesting when you hear about bottlenecks, because this is kind of what we've been hearing Mark Cerny talk about for a long time now with the creation of the PS5. He is the architect of the PS5, and his big goal with it was to remove all bottlenecks to make game development for it as easy as possible. But now he seems to be taking that to another level when it comes to actual game development itself, and looking to find ways to just remove bottlenecks there as well. When you look at these AAA PlayStation games, they're only getting bigger, they're only getting better, and you see these teams kind of scaling up to match that. So it really only makes sense that there's going to be a group of people here, a group of veteran developers who are going to try to take a step back and think, how can we just streamline the development process? There has to be something we can do here to just it's not even about necessarily making it easier, but I think it's what it says here, focusing on making great games, because what it all comes down to, this is what PlayStation Studios, that's what their ultimate goal is. And when it comes to us as the player, that's what we want. We just want more great games. So hopefully this is something that takes off and is a big success for Haven Studio and Sony, because it could have massive implications for the future of PlayStation Studios and the games that they develop. Moving on from that, though, we have a bit of an update once again on Kojima Productions and Death Stranding 2. Now, this isn't anything major, but still, the evidence begins to pile up here. Reading again from Push Square, says two of the top executives from PlayStation's marketing department, Eric Lempel and Craig Malanka, paid a visit to Kojima's Productions' new offices this week. The trip comes amid heavy rumors regarding Death Stranding 2, with a producer seemingly letting the sequel slip last week before attempting to walk back the error. So this was something that I happened to come across on Twitter as well, and yeah, there's no denying that something is happening between Kojima Productions and PlayStation. You would assume sooner rather than later, considering how much we're beginning to see here and the pace at which it's kind of, coming out. But, this was something that you have to think to yourself, well, why would Kojima be meeting with the two head marketers at Sony? I mean, there's really only one reason. It's because they're working out the way they're going to kind of roll out this game. At this point, I would assume everything's already kind of locked in, and they're kind of just, doing some finishing touches and, just making sure everything's good. And something else I've noticed in the past couple of weeks with Kojima on his Twitter is he has been frequently posting himself kind of editing what is presumed to be a new trailer. And I've seen people say that it's likely at this point we're going to see this game revealed at the Game Awards, and I could definitely see that happening. I mean, he did say last year that he will be at the Game Awards, and we know that he's good friends with Jeff Keighley, so I could see the Death Stranding 2 or whatever this PlayStation project is reveal happening at the Game Awards. But I think most PlayStation fans are kind of holding out a little bit of hope that it might happen before that. But there you go. That's the latest update I have for you. Moving on to the final topic, though, we're talking once again about God of War Ragnarok. Not only did Sony reveal a new immersion trailer for God of War that shows a bit of new gameplay, but a official PlayStation 5 bundle has been announced as well. They say experience next-gen immersion on PS5 and journey through the 9 realms in stunning 4K. Feel your journey in the palms of your hands via the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers of the DualSense wireless controller, and pinpoint every sound with 3D audio. So this is something that we've seen Sony do with a lot of their bigger titles, kind of release these short trailers that show more of the game off, but also kind of highlight, you know, how they're taking advantage of the PlayStation 5's features. And I think for a game like God of War Ragnarok, just like with Horizon Forbidden West, it's pretty important to kind of, you know, emphasize it a little bit more because it is a cross-gen game. I think people are going to want to know what's the difference between the PS4 and PS5 version. Now, obviously, the bundle that we're seeing announced is not a special or limited edition console. I have seen a few people express some disappointment here. They thought that this was a game that Sony would definitely end up rolling out a limited edition console for, and we haven't seen Sony do that yet for any of their games. It's hard to say why exactly. It could be due to the shortage, but at the very least, and I will continue to say this until it happens, maybe it won't happen, I am shocked that there haven't been some custom PS5 cover designs released yet. I feel like it's just something that's so obvious and people would love that. I think they would sell really well. I don't know why Sony hasn't done that yet. They've released different console covers. They have like a new camo one that's coming out. I don't know why they wouldn't do it for some of their big games, but still, this bundle is going to sell like crazy. We just talked in our last video about how there's a massive increase in PS5 consoles. The shortage is finally coming to an end, and going into the launch of God of War Ragnarok, I think it's safe to say that PS5s are still going to continue to fly off the shelves. I think that Sony's going to do a good job kind of restocking them and really getting closer to meeting that demand, but I just think, you know, the release of God of War Ragnarok, it's such a massive game, it's going to do crazy numbers, I think, in general for Sony. So there you go. That is the latest update for God of War Ragnarok. So let me know your thoughts on the new trailer and the bundle, and let me know, out of all the features that are going to be available for Ragnarok on the PS5, which one do you care about most? Which one are you most excited about? That does it for the video, though, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. Again, leave it a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.